The Amazing Spider-Man Torn issue 2 came out earlier this week, and I have a lot to say about this one, but I gotta say, for only 2 issues into the story, they do the characters really well. I really like how Peter and Spider-Man is portrayed in this, but I also wanted to say that MJ is really good in this story, and her character is incredibly likable, and I'm going to talk about her later, but I just wanted to say that. And I have looked up this artist, or not the artist, the writer who does this, and he's written a few other Spider-Man stories, which explains why he's so good at it. But this is what the villain looks like. I didn't show what she looked like in the last review because that was just a reveal. I wanted to wait in case anyone wanted to read it before then. But since we're in issue 2, I'm going to assume that people have read the first one. And I like the cat's realization when she looks up to see it and then freaks out and tries to run away. But in this issue, we find out the secrets of the book and what they did to her and how she ended up transforming this way. I won't give away all the details, but I will talk about some of them to because I need to talk to them about them for predictions. But one prediction that came true that I made in the last review is I said Peter would go to the doctor to help him translate the book because it's in German. And that actually does happen, but he shows up as Spider Man, where he actually says probably one of the best jokes I heard in a while, where he says he's finally at the top of his class. But as they talk and he asks him for help through the German to translate the book, he ends up leaving it with him. But the doctor ends up asking why Spider Man's going out of his way to muffle his voice. And he wouldn't do that unless the doctor would know who he was already, but then that's when Spider Man leaves right away. So I think the doctor might be on to him already. And then they go to the funeral for the characters who died in the first issue, which is kind of crazy. But this right here is what I was talking about with MJ's character and why she's so likable. Because I like it when MJ's written as the mature one, really. And she's really unapologetically honest. And I really like it about her. And she ends up calling out Pete for kind of ignoring them because she tells him that she ends up hurting people, two someone's, even maybe three. And I think she's talking about herself, Gwen, and Harry because he's been acting really distant because of all the book stuff. And then she ends up telling him that if he wants to be together, that they should just be together. And he ends up finally making his move. And I really like when MJ is more upfront like this. But here we get the backstory of what's going on with the book. And I won't say exactly what her form represents, but I wanted to show off this because this is what I'm talking about right here. In this panel, in one of these texts, we see that it says, just being in the same room with it for too long drove Emperor Caligula mad. I think that's how you say his name, but it drove him mad. And it said for being in the same room for too long. And the doctor had it for a night. And I'm starting to think that he's going to play a bigger role in this story than I originally thought. And I think the book did something to him. He doesn't show any signs of it when he talks to Spider-Man the next day, but I still worry about that part. And she's also connected to the book, so she can sense it wherever it's at. So she'll be able to find Peter wherever he goes. But something else I wanted to mention, and I want to go back to issue 1 for this, because I didn't show the ending because I didn't want to spoil it, but I could show it now. Because it's mentioned that the reason she transformed into that is because of a blood ritual, because some of her blood got on the book. But I just wanted to point out, I'm not sure if this is going to play a major role. I just assume so because there's a line where she has the book and she said got some blood on it. So then from there, she ends up spilling her own blood on it, which then ends up transforming her. but someone else's blood was already on the book. So I'm wondering if their blood's mixed in the sacrifice and it turned her into something that it wasn't supposed to. I'm just gonna throw that prediction out there for now, only because there's a line about it in the first issue, and I was thinking, why would they say that? But we'll see how it turns out. And the creature ends up finding Peter and attacking them, but MJ actually attacks back, and that's what I mean about how they. I really like how they captured MJ's character in this. She's really likable, and I really do like this version of MJ. I really hope she's okay because we're set up for the fight next issue, but MJ's right there. And I think the reason why it's called Spider-Man Torn is because this book is causing a lot of problems and it's really dangerous. I can see the setup for it already, like with the teacher, and this fight could have some backlash hurting MJ. I don't know if she knows that Peter's Spider-Man yet, but she made it sound like it in their conversation. But I gotta say, for 2 issues in, this has been really enjoyable series. I really like this second issue cover. I haven't gotten any variants yet because I haven't seen any when I gone to the shop, but this is still a really good cover. But anyways, I'm really excited for the next issue. I'm really into this series. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.